let's double check things. Check on here and make sure that everything is going hunky-dory. Seems like we've got an excellent connection. Yeah, we're 5 seconds in. All right.
Okay, there.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. All right. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
AKA
Henry and Sangita.
Let's get right to it. All right. Would you like to start us off, Sunny?
Okay, so we've got Jay Ayers, I think.
Yep.
Thanks to Jason Tate for letting me know about this corner of the metaverse. I hail from the UK, am in the age bracket for forms 40 to 50, had over 30 years with no painting anything except for the walls at home. So after, is it whining or winning? Winning. A combat patrol decided to try mini painting over the olden days of model aircraft of my long forgotten youth. First mini was the Librarian from the Grey Knights, followed by the Chaos Knight. Have a few whip going. Learned this is a mandatory practice of painters now, along with the pile of shame. Have been told this is a nice and relaxed group, so hopefully we'll fit right in here. Dropped a few pictures of finished pieces and current whip.
Well, we'll continue on because we cannot. We'll take a look at what your actual whips are. Yeah. Welcome to the group. And as for nice and relaxed, it was all lies. All lies,
yeah,
obviously.
It's very stressful.
At least for us.
We're going to give you a really hard time.
Yes.
Yeah, we only accept display quality models here. If you're not Marco Frassoni, please feel free to leave. But yes, anyhow, we are going to take a look at what Jay has
done.
Oh, we're going on to the next one
yeah,
already?
because he shows us whips throughout the week.
I see, okay.
Whereas there's their finished pieces, so we will continue on.
So, as suggested, I added some splatter to the models before packing them away for today. Also tried a different way of taking photos and not the flash.
They look a lot clearer this time around, I'd say. And also, I think some of the... I like some of the mud splatter. What do you think of how it's looking?
Yeah, it looks very rusty and like it was well used.
Well, for me, the biggest thing is, like, I'm not sure. So, I'm pretty sure the mud guards would protect for a bit of this sort of stuff, right? Oh, we've got the truck here again. I'm just saying that, yeah, the what do you call them? The transfers look a lot more blended in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's a lot better. I think that this mud splatter looks really great, especially around here on the back, like because we've got that mud splatter come up now, rather than it just be what it was before.
Yep. I think I do like the colors here. Maybe it's not intentional, but it has a lot of that sort of orange and teal combination going on with it, which I think it just gives a nice sort of...
Yeah, for sure.
I do like also all those like numbering that he's given.
I'll get to the picture you're looking at. This one? The few done.
There he is.
Yeah, this one.
But I feel that it does feel a bit sort of too old, like it's been left out.
Well, it is in use. While you're here, would you be able to send me the link to the thing, and I'll put it in some various stream areas.
I'm just...
Alright, but yeah, so I can see what you mean by looking quite old, but I'm fairly sure that's just the coloration of the tank rather than it being old itself, you know. That's the camo that they've chosen. So you take a look at the green there, it's quite a muted green.
Yeah.
And then almost, I wouldn't quite call it a desert yellow, but, you know.
Like ochres?
Yeah, like I guess ochre. and then you've got the more rust style colors, and I think that's why it is that way in particular.
Yeah, maybe it'll look better life in the sense that it doesn't look, because currently it just looks like a tank that you might find by an archaeologist, you know, like it's been ages since we found a tank, you know, digging at a site somewhere. That's what it. I know it will be a bit weathered, but that's my critique on that.
Yep. Anything else that you have to say?
Yeah, I like the grass that's been, you know, stuck onto the wheels and undercarriage. Like you don't really see a lot in vehicular models, so that's a good, a nice detail. Well, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, for sure.
So the next one is you, but I will read it. You say
you
we
will...
are back, baby, but you did not put the Backstreet Boys music.
Hey.
Yes.
Is oh yes, with the sorry, with this, sorry, I went to the next to the, what do you call it? The next post with images. But yeah, you can tell us your thoughts on the brushstroke interview.
I thought it was a very sort of natural conversation where I think it hit a lot of relatable topics, especially with painters, like, you know, even us who, and we've got our guests who were actually very you know, skilled painters. Even they are sitting there wondering, how does brushstroke get his paint so smooth and so clean, you know? And it's things like that that is just nice to see, because like everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, even when you're a top level painter. Like for brushstroke, he would like to adventure past the clean, try for character paintings, like how you know, our guests had done them up very characterful with all the dents and scratches and showcasing their talents in those areas as well. And I quite liked that we got to talk about stealing different techniques from each other. What is it that we would steal from you, what we would steal from, and it's just, I think the thing I enjoyed the most is what it came up to. It's not so much the interview, but this quote unquote challenge.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how did it even come about? I was just joking around. You know, I was joking around because Justin started posting his Terminators, and yeah, and everyone started coming on board, and that was great.
And then brushstroke graced us with his presence, shaming us,
all of us,
because we showed
very
off
fancy hotel workshop space.
Yeah, no, because I remember showing off our one, and I'm like, oh, you know what, it's not bad. And then brushstroke shows off his, and I'm like, all right. But speaking of,
wait,
we're up to Jason Tate, and he has joined the Boney Bros.
The Boney Bros.
Would you like to read out?
Yes. So someone decided to declare themselves triumphant. Hashtag Better Brothers was a challenge, and I kind of took that personally. Not really, but it adds a great narrative. After seeing Cal and Sunny's efforts, I had to get mine done. Their swords were both excellent examples of what I could have achieved, but I didn't want to try to replicate theirs. Instead, I went a wee bit extra. So I submit my finished, barring a matte varnish. Hashtag Boney Bro. I consider this a display level piece and would really appreciate the harshest critiques in order for me to push myself even further next time. Yes, I have something in mind, though keep in mind I don't have an airbrush currently. Also, if anyone has questions about how I painted anything, just ask. Edited. Added some brighter lit photos on a neutral background to help with the critique. Yeah, because I had questions about his model, basically the basing, and I thought it was ice base, but turns out it was a marble base. And with the way that he's done with a very dark background, I think some of the details aren't coming through
I
as much.
I think it's not so much that. I think that it's a blue marble,
Yep.
which didn't really help him.
Yeah, it didn't quite
So
translate.
I'll get to that in a minute. But there is one thing I want to get to. Would you be able to read out your comment?
My comment?
The first comment that you
Oh.
made on the very first picture.
I don't know if
No. You got to click on this picture right here.
Oh, the first picture.
Yes, because
Oh.
I thought this was.
Oh, here it is. I laughed reading your caption, and I absolutely love the way we have all sorts come together on this challenge. We have all sort of come together on this challenge, even though it didn't start that way at all. It was me making a joke about a made-up competition between Justin and Alex, and for it to turn into more members taking on the style challenge has brought so much joy and happiness. Anyway, enough sentimentality. I think feedback on your work at this stage is more nitpicking, but I think the OSL could be a tiny bit more apparent, but I bet it looks different in real life as well. Where are you going? Were you going for an ice base, by the way? Other than that, I think everything else is spot on. Perhaps on the review show this week, we might be able to find more things to talk about. That's what I have for now.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to point out is when it comes to the golden angle, I definitely think that this is its golden angle. The camera pointed up facing the model.
Yep.
Because when I take a look at it, right, the first thing that comes out to me is the shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the shield looks so good here until we go to here, right?
Oh.
Where it looks all right because of that.
The shadowing that he's done.
It's a very harsh transition. Harsh transitions are okay. There's nothing wrong with harsh transitions. It's just about whether it fits or not. And see, right here, it still fits until we start moving about a bit more. So here, kind of, and then I think there's one, in the neutral background. It just doesn't seem to be there at all. I think with this neutral background, I think it takes away a lot of the sort of energy of your piece, because I think, especially with it being such a bright piece, a lot of it gets taken. So when I take a look at it in the neutral light, it's not nearly as dramatic or cool. I don't think having a darker background necessarily means that it's bad, because when I take a look at it here, so if we are to imagine the shield and the lighting realistically, I think it would be somewhere like that. We have an imaginary line like this, so it would actually cover up more of this end, right? So, but the way that he's done it along the sword, I think stylistically fits a lot more, but only when we're looking at it at that angle right here. When we look at it at this angle right here, I think your piece is absolutely perfect, but perhaps not for the reasons that you think. So it looks as if the lightning is traveling around on the ground when we look this way, rather than it being marble flooring that it's sort of skittering along the ground. Now, if you're trying for marble flooring, unfortunately, I think it fails. And the reason that it fails is because of this effect that you've added here, because it makes it seem like all of that electricity is flowing through the model. And I know that we're taking a bit of time for this one right here, but in my opinion, Alex
Penguin is on. Yeah. Hello, Penguin.
Alex has
hello, Naylan.
Hey, we should say we should say hello to Naden because he says lurking with no sound on while at a work call.
And Victor is on too.
Yes.
Hello.
Well, would you just like to say hello to Naden while we're here?
Okay.
So, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about that, right, is that's some of the things that you've got to recognize. The second thing is, I think that the eyes look really great when it comes from like the lightning and this. It seems somehow connected. I think that the OSL is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's so subtle, but it's not coming off the clothes at all.
Yeah, which is why I thought that maybe like it's nice, but I think it could be just a tad bit more apparent maybe towards the base where the lightning.
But when I said I wanted to get into some of the things, there's specific areas where I think that you haven't done the best. So one of them is on there. Okay, sorry, went too far. Right here, if we take a look at it, the whiteness of the lightning right here is quite messed up. Like, see, out here, I think that the lightning looks great, but here it just looks to be a chaotic mess. There's not, any sort of distinction sort of thing. You want to say something different? It's okay.
I don't know, cause it's a crackling, it sparks, kind of. I would think.
I understand, but he did ask for our harshest level feedback.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking, how else would you do it? Because like a smooth glow would not make sense for something that's spitting lightning.
It's not about a smooth glow. See these bits of lightning? What he should do is have lots of those little bits of lightning coming out from there, right?
Okay.
So, like, just a whole mess of those bits of lightning coming out from there. I think that the effect that he has, this effect, has come off very well.
Someone actually had commented about using a thinner wire instead of.
Oh yes,
fuse wire.
I would agree that a thinner wire would be better, but I'm not gonna fault his use of this because that's not something that I've done before. So I still think that it looks really good.
It still looks nice even with a thick. Yeah.
There is one other thing. So right here, I'm able to see it.
Yeah, the green spots on there.
No. So see, he needs to travel in the other direction when it comes to the glazes, because he's thinned his paint down. When he's used his brush stroke, it's come along. See, it's settled at the top. See how there's those dots there?
Yeah.
So that's from glazing in, essentially the wrong direction, or, letting it pool sort of thing. But yeah, so I wanted to get into that. Yeah, so here's the thing, when it comes to the lighting in this, right? I don't necessarily think that this is bad. I think that this is quite good. Because remember, we're not selling the reality. We're selling the feeling of reality. And I think, unfortunately, the neutral light doesn't do you any favors. I really like that dramatic lighting that you had before, right? I think there's nothing wrong because you're trying to get, the most responses out of it. I think we've made comments on the gold and the verdigris before. Is there anything else which you think really critically needs to be commented on? Because the last thing that I'm going to comment on is the marble.
I think maybe if you could zoom into the red band on
this.
Yeah. I do think the way that the scratches here, when we're looking at it, it feels like those scratches should have been focused a lot more on the edges rather than sort of evenly spaced scratch marks along the
so you're saying
thing.
More scratches along this end and more scratches along this end?
Yeah, because currently it looks like tiny cat hairs on it. like painted
I
on cat hairs.
I disagree with that, but I can understand why you say it. But I think it looks good. I think he could do more definition when it comes to the scratches,
Mm-hmm.
like how people have done those little black marks underneath,
Yeah.
and then the
It's like a
white just
shadowing.
above that. But
Yeah.
I mean, with this, I actually really like it. I think that looks great. And you got to remember, we really got to zoom in, like
To
take
see that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
But see, like at this angle, like at this photography angle, I that's something I picked up on because it looked like sprinkles rather than like actual scratches.
I would
So
I would disagree with that, but I think that we've spent quite a bit here, so I'm just gonna make the final comment on the marble. I think this is where we can see most of the marble. First off, when it comes to marble vases, try not to raise your model if you can. Sand down the base and then work from there. Because I think, like, though this looks great, and another thing is contrast. So with these blue bits of lightning, right? It doesn't sell the marble effect anymore because it looks like you're trying for something else, and it looks interesting. It's visually interesting, but people aren't like, "Oh, that's a cool marble effect." They're like, "Oh, what's going on with the lightning thing?"
yep.
But look, I think that you did a really, really, really good job, and you should be really proud of what you've made here. But I hope that harsh feedback, like you've asked for, helps. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh yes, this one.
With this Larry
Yes, Larry has a flu.
has a flu. Red in tooth and claw. Calling this done, added some satin varnish on highlighted areas of the fur for that high pro glow. Also put some on the claws and nose and dotted the eyes with gloss varnish. The blood effects paint is glossy out of the bottle, and I want to keep it that way to emphasize it. I also added a little lighter brown to the meat chunk at his feet. The last two pictures are just me.
I
Those are the pictures.
Yeah, no, this is one of the things that I like the best, particularly this. Werewolf sighting or just a hoax, and just it's very, very fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and guys, if you have things to say, please,
Comment
yeah.
in the chat.
And for those of you who are members on the Discord, please come in and say hello to us on the stream and join us.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the first things that I wanted to say is the varnish really has helped. Do you remember how matte it used to be?
Yeah, it was almost bone dry the way.
Yeah, and see now that contrast isn't nearly as stark, and he fits a lot more together. Like, honestly, with this photography, like, the gloss doesn't come through as much for the eye, but what does come through is that these areas look far less matte.
Yeah.
Because before, oh my god.
Yeah, it just looked so.
And the contrast between this here and the rest of the model, you were just like, oh my god, what's happening? Something's happening. But yeah, so I think that you've, like, for what it is, because, like, there's no getting around what the model is itself. I think that you've done a great job. I like the cuts. I like the bleeding. Gives some contrast. I like the way that you've done up the claws covered in blood, but it's not over the top.
Yeah.
It's there. Do you have anything to say on it, Sunny?
No, I like the meat. The very realistic. I don't know if that's bone or, like, the white part of the muscle there with the red. I think that was.
Yeah, no, I very much, and, like, I think he took a lot of the feedback on board, and yeah, the Discord is a members thing.
Yes, yeah. So if you join
Ko-Fi,
us, Ko-Fi or YouTube member.
Yeah, YouTube or Ko-Fi members. So it's $2 for Ko-Fi per month, or
Sergeant Tate just popped in on the chat.
Hello.
Oh no. Oh no. You had missed all that we had to say.
Oh, we spent a good, I don't know,
good amount of time.
10 minutes, 20 minutes on
talking about your Dark Angel.
Yeah, so we will move on.
Yee.
All right, so next up,
we've got Lance.
Oh yeah, we do have Lance. Nice.
Working on a couple more conscripts before moving on to some more interesting minis.
You know what I like about Lance is he's unapologetic in his use of yellow. He loves he loves his yellow.
He does love his yellow. He loves using his warm tones, I would say.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. His miniatures do have a lot of warmth.
Yeah.
But what I really like about his is that he's just smashing them out, getting them done. But the other thing is, I think he's improved with the basing a lot. No longer is it just, you can see underneath.
Yeah, like there's the patches of the dirt that's missing.
The most criticism I've got on that is right here is a tiny patch of the color underneath the base, and that's very wanky sort of thing. It's not serious, but yeah, they are very much what they are. I think that they're great. They're all within the lines. Got some contrast, not a lot of shading or shadowing or that sort of thing, but they're doing what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
But I reckon that his basings come an infinite way from where it was before. Yes. So next up, we've got Jin Mao.
Jin Minho.
Okay.
Jin Minho.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Finally, basically finished my Brethren. Still thinking about base thematics and starting my assaulters. Oh yeah.
It's just the focus on this. It's focused on the calendar in the background.
Oh. Yeah. I think some of them are a little bit clearer.
Yeah. Okay. I'm covered good.
Yeah. Starting my assaulters with jump packs. I use Vallejo and Academia paint, except for red and yellow. They are $1.50 cheapest paint. Heard of any paint?
Actually, no, we've got our craft paint.
Yes, but I think he's not talking about craft.
I don't know what he's talking about. So, some of these have come along better than others. I'll talk about the first one. So this first one I think's come along quite nicely, the white, but it's inconsistent. So see all the white up here? I think that looks really good, but then you come to down here and the white could just be applied over that blue and all of this would look really good. I think the way that he's done the battered metal comes off interesting. The only issue is, if this was a deliberate choice and this wasn't leather, that would look great.
So he's gone for leather?
No, because see, that's a sort of gun pouch or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can see the metal coming through on that. Oh. So he's obviously based in a metal color, and then it's sort of come through. So he just needs to give some more coats to that, and hopefully that'll cover that up, and that will look good. So I think this looks good, right? I like a lot of the things, and having that blue-toned white is a really good choice.
Yeah.
I think Penguin's got something to say.
Yeah. Had to go a bit back to hear your review on my bolt action vehicles. I went with a bleached and dirty look, as armored vehicles will only be recalled for basic maintenance every 16 weeks.
Yeah, so I felt that made sense. So right here, this is what I was talking about, for example, where the white could really be applied a little more consistently.
Yeah.
And very much down there. So I don't think that this is bad per se, but I just think that it's beginner, and I'm not too sure about these paints then, how good they are. because we see a lot of that blue there. And I don't know if his white's just not covering or if it's not coming through or it's a technique he's
It is a
trying.
little patchy.
Yeah. But the one thing I looked at here was with that gold, this blue coming through, it just, I don't know what effect you're going for right here. And when you become confused on a model, that's usually not a good sign. I think that it would be better to stick with one tone with you guys. So, for example, the blue tone that you have on these two looks better in my opinion because it's got a nice contrast. This sort of bone white up here, and it gives you a visual distinction and it draws the eye. But yeah, so I think, just keep at it, my dude. Just keep painting and you'll get better. Don't worry too much about the little details. The biggest things that you got to worry about right now is getting your brush control down pat and painting more models.
Yep.
All right. Next up we have, it's brushstroke.
It's brushstroke.
But yeah, so very, very lots of smoothness, and he's trying for scratches here.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I got to say with the scratches is that they're single toned. So you know how usually with scratches you'll want something underneath them, a slightly darker color to give them that depth.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the bit of feedback that I'd give there, because I don't think he's very used to. Oh, look at that screen, that's beautiful. I don't think he's very used to doing the more sort of scratchy work, as he says. So he's a bit sort of thrown off by it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like when we take a look at like when it comes to the smooth stuff, he's like, I'm still king.
Yes.
But when it comes to bit,
I do like the texture that he's gone for either way.
Like, I think the placement is
it's
fine.
Nice, yeah.
But like I said, like for example here, see how just by his natural highlighting here, this one feels to have more depth. Because right underneath it, there's a slightly lighter color. That was just a slightly darker color. But, we'll see how it goes in the future. There's a whip.
A whip.
A whip.
This.
Alright, so you wanted to ramble.
Oh. Hello, guys. Looky what I was recommended on my feed on Pinterest. I thought I'd share content like this because I know many of you look for color schemes, and if you don't know what about Pinterest, please consider using it because it is the artist's resource. In fact, I've got an entire board of inspiration from just color scheme. Hope this is helpful. Yes, I thought it might be nice because this particular post talks about best color combinations, and it shows and breaks down like how they've decided on the different colors and how they work together, and that's why I thought it's really good to get onto Pinterest if you don't know about it and if you don't have it. I know many people have been starting to talk about the color cube. I've seen that advertisement floating around on my Facebook as well, and I took a look at it one time just to see what it was about, and it just seemed like everything that you would get on Pinterest, but printed in card format and packaged nicely in a nice colorful cube. And the price tag on it is pretty hefty for what you're getting. And I think if it had more value add, like at the back of each card, it teaches you about how to select colors or something educational that came on top of it. I think if it's just meant to be a resource, you're better off just going online to Pinterest or even typing in color scheme generator on Google, and
that's the one thing that I wanted to talk about. We'll move on as we do that, which is how when we did the Kitsune ones, I had that powder blue, and I had the orange of the foxes. and I said, what would match powder blue and orange? And then it threw back salmon at me along with a couple of other things. And I thought, salmon and powder blue is a very sort of traditional Japanese style
Yeah, like in
set
the
of colors.
yukata, they might have something like that in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
kimono.
They have a lot of nice soft colors
Mm.
together
Mm.
like that. So yeah. But would you like to read out for Jay now?
Okay, current whip. Now I can do plasma glow, no problem. But this is the power sword, just makes me want to launch it into the pits of the unfinished mini L.
So the only thing that I'd say on here, right, because it is a whip, is just those eyes are so flooded.
Yeah, they do seem a
They
bit bloody.
I think you could get a darker color and put them around
Yeah, like a
this.
pin, like just a wash
Yeah,
to shadow the edges a bit.
yeah, exactly. A pin wash to shadow the edges and to take off the harshness from the other areas. But I do believe that he's worked on the sorry, the power sword
Yeah.
later on. So we'll continue on and take a look because I think he's got a few done this week.
Right.
All right. So next up we have me and my rambling. And essentially what I say is, why is community so important? And the reason is because of that whole little contest, I guess you could call it, when it comes to the Bony Bros. Like
Yeah, it's like pushing each other.
Yeah, it is. It is pushing each other. I think like you get more into it, but not just that, you want to share things more.
Yeah, like you feel the need to like take all these excellent ideas and put your own spin on it and say like, look what I can do. Look, like I like what you've done, but look what I can do too. And then everyone gets excited over everyone else's interpretations, and that is the thing about community. That's the thing that you get when you put yourself out there and share the hobby with someone.
Especially when you've got that personal connection, when it's just that one particular model.
Yeah.
Because we all use that particular model, probably because it was free.
It's free.
But I think Brushstrokes, Alex, and Justin did it back before it was free. But the thing is, it really helped connect things. Speaking of, we've got Justin.
Been a tough few months for me and will be just as tough moving forward. But finding my passion again in the form of this project, and one for a friend I will post shortly. Crimson Fist Command Squad basic basis ongoing. Red's next. It's looking at.
Yes, it is. It is looking brushstroke level smooth right now.
Taking a page out of Brushstrokes.
But I also love the other bit back here, which is where you can see the foam blocks with everything sort of penciled in, because I've kind of got that going on with one of my brother's things, but it's still unfinished. But as always, guys, if you want to comment on something, even if it's something like this,
just pop it out on the chats here on the live
and we'll
stream,
read it out.
And we'll read it out.
But next up, I wanted to talk about this for a minute.
Oh yeah.
So I just wanted to say to Joseph, like, really, those printed things are really great. Mostly because all you want to do is stick a toothpick in when you've got that little barrel in, so that air will get in at the same time, so it'll all flow in together. Because oh my god, it's just a nightmare. And yes, those P3 bottles are just awful, aren't they? They're just, because we've got some.
The little tab has fallen off.
Yeah, no, they crack. Not impressed by them.
Not impressed. P3.
All right. Yes. See, exactly. Next up, the glow.
Look at this.
So I think that the glow is
It's
really
really
good.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, I think like the glow's really good, but unfortunately, I think like the rest of the model has to be done up more for the glow to
Yeah.
have more of an impact. So like the glow is good, right? But with it just being very sort of basic and steel right now, and like yes, I know they're the Grey Knights, that they're steel, but you really need to have like for example the purity seal done, all of these other little bits up to make that glow go well. Now, if this is just a sort of experiment to test how you can get glow going, I think that you've hit all of the right places. But I do think that unless you've got the rest of the stuff done up, the glow won't, like, you won't be able to even just test it because the whole thing is you want it to hit off those other things. Because remember, that little purity seal is going to be red. So the blue glowing off that would desaturate that red and change the color and such. Just,
Yeah, you're saying that the OSL effect is what sort of ties in the verisimilitude, feels a bit more real in comprehension.
hey, some dude on YouTube. Yeah, actually, what this is the standard hours for when we usually do it, but we've been shifting things about because
Some of our guests are from other countries and we want to incorporate them as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
we want to.
Oh no, Nayland, please send your work.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you send it, because we'll load at the
At
very
very end to
end.
see who, if there's any new ones
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. But if you need me to approve you, then you might be a little too late because I don't have any of the notifications come up or try not to. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll just get Sunny to double check if anybody's no.
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 Just tell us in the chats that you've posted and we'll check the
Yeah.
admin side of.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So next up was our
Your video.
and people have liked this one just as much as the Elegiac Hero one, but it's really unfortunate because people love the videos, but there's not enough people watching them.
Yeah.
So it's both good and bad because
Yeah.
I think currently on this one we've got a 100% like ratio, which is just incredible, and a lot of likes. But yeah, it's really frustrating, and maybe we might have to put these onto another channel, or who knows
I
what we're gonna
don't
do.
know. Yeah.
All
Gotta
right.
get it out.
So next up, we have Tim. Would you like to read out for Tim?
Sorry, 1 second. Penguin says, "Is it me or did the stream go very soft?"
Very soft. If you guys would be able to comment on whether we're going soft or not, would you like to
Read? Okay.
Oh well, what I was going to say is just put the volume on for a minute to see whether
Oh.
we're soft or not.
Okay. Sounds good to me, actually.
Okay for me.
Maybe it's. Is it
same
me?
here, no issues. So yeah, no.
Is it me? Oh no, yeah, sounds good.
Okay, all right. Well, we will move on. So next up, you've got Tim.
Sorry, 1 second. Alright. Hello, everyone. Thanks for letting me join this little coven of painting witches and wizards. I'll be lurking a bit and looking at what people do, and maybe at some point in the future be brave enough to post something here. In the meantime, hello, good day, and can I have a coffee, please? Side note, is there an introduce yourself thread here somewhere, or does that just happen naturally?
No, we just wait for people to post up their whips, and then we talk to them. All right. So next up, we've got Alex, and I'd like to say a big thanks to Alex for joining us
for the Finding Your Style video interview.
Because I really liked Alex points, especially the ones about Photoshop.
Oh yeah, he had many fun jokes to share.
Yeah, but I think that like he really sort of humanized brushstrokes when the two of them were just having a chat, and he's like, "Oh, how'd you do this? Oh, well, I did this by this. Oh, like I liked Richard Gray, and like, oh yeah, no, Richard Gray's great. I've met him once, and
Yeah.
and just the way that they interacted, it felt so human, and like I felt so bad for cutting them off because I
Yeah, because
was
it was like, we have to move on to the questions that we
yeah
wrote down.
yeah.
And my favorite part was when, they were talking about the purity seals and how Alex couldn't, for the life of him, get purity seals right.
Oh yeah
And I
yeah.
thought that was such a nice sort of thing to see, a witness
Hmm.
the teachings.
All right, would you so have you read it out yet? I
Nope,
don't think you
nope.
have.
Life has been hectic the last few weeks. When isn't it, really? But
Hmm.
for the next 3 days, I am going to finish this commission. Today, I repainted the two. Apparently, that's what they are really called. TMYK. Just need to change the T to C, and it becomes CMYK. Yeah.
Well,
Just need to do the Silent King and his two flunkies.
the thing I noticed here is this sort of, I wouldn't even call it marble patterning. This so I don't know if this is meant to be OSL or if it's an energy coming from here.
Jason likes how minty fresh it's looking.
All right. But like just this bit right here, you see that I'm pointing out, like that, and then how it goes into the dark turquoise. It's just absolutely fantastic. I really like that effect. I don't know how to describe it though, but yeah.
Do you think it's just like the under prime and then it's just like when you
Well,
on top?
I do think that there's a contrast involved by the how it looks,
Yeah, because I
because it
can
looks
see
very watercolory.
I can see a little bit of the poolings from the
Yeah,
contrast.
yeah, but like
It's not a bad thing. It
yeah,
just
no.
adds to that sort of
Yeah.
rippling power effect.
Yeah, and I also like how he sort of brought those streaks down.
Yeah.
Like it feels very deliberate. And that's the big thing, between whether something comes off or not, whether it feels deliberate. If something feels deliberate, then you can get away with a lot. The Satan looking great. All of the rest of it looks very sort of standard Necron-y. Like, yeah. It doesn't, like, I know that this sounds bad, but it doesn't look special, whereas this is something that's like an sort of thing, right? This looks like box art, which is a great compliment, but I mean, the part of it for me, I just look at it and I'm just like, yeah, well, that's a thing.
My only point is that I think the only part that could be improved is this yellow green lightning balls.
Oh yeah.
I think he could go in with a white thin line inside to really show the spark of lightning. Cause it's really like a lightning.
Oh,
It just looks a bit flat to me.
I understand what you're saying, but that's fraught with danger. Like
But it's
worry,
Alex. He can do anything. Sorry.
because then we can hear the ringing of the table. That is the one problem with
Yeah,
this
it's very
table.
annoying, the ringing. You
But
get some
we don't.
pool noodles and put it on.
Yeah, yes, that was our solution, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
I should read Jason's comment. Yeah, it looks like a contrast application, but he's done it so well on a flat surface, which is very hard to do.
Yes, contrast and flat surfaces are not friends. Okay, so next up we've got Jay.
Ooh. Far from being a perfectionist, I love to push my skills beyond their limits. Many people are scared of OSL. I have actually come to love experimenting with it. If works brilliant. If not, try again. Only the hand and arm cannon to go on this one. I think I will paint the entire Grey Knights as a dark/steel stealth unit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the OSL is coming off a lot better now that we see more things done. But like that's the big thing that I'd say. You got to come in there first. I'd say that the OSL from behind comes off too harsh. So like right here, it just looks a bit too blocky, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say the red it looks like the light is actually emitting from the cube like parts from the jetpack rather than from circular vents
Oh, you're
above it.
saying from here
Yeah, I think
rather than
yeah,
up there.
because it's radiating outwards the red. You
Yeah,
see, it needs to be just straight down,
yeah.
straight down,
Well,
touch
it
only
needs to
the highest
it
points.
needs to go like that.
Yeah, and it
So
won't reach as far as until the legs. It would only stop maybe until here, where he's got the cubes. That's the only part that red would.
Yeah, the vents right
The
here.
the vents area.
I think that you could have it go further down if you had a very light touch of that, because those vents are also powered. But
Yep.
yeah, I think I very much agree with everything that you've said.
Yeah, yummy.
Well, let us move on to the next piece.
Oh, we've got Old Man Cass.
Old Man Cass.
I have a huge KDM collection, which I have decided to start chipping away at. Unfortunately, my spray undercoat didn't take too well on this mini, leaving smooth surfaces a bit bumpy. But here is my cell work in progress.
That's what I was noticing right off the bat. I guess, but despite the fact that she's got a lot of skin showing, you know what she kind of reminds me of? She-Ra.
Really?
Yeah, kind of.
I think she looks like the Empress from 3000.
1,000?
You know, the Spartan 3000?
Oh, right, 300.
Oh, 300, sorry.
Yes, I was like...
I'd be like, too much Warhammer. But instead of 30k, it's 3000.
The Empress from 3000. Yes,
Warhammer.
just like Labus Aronius from 5000.
What's that?
Don't worry.
It's dirty jokes on here.
No, it's not a dirty joke.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's coming along really nicely.
Yeah.
Got the blocking of the colours in there. I think that the only problem is, as he said, the spray. The spray has betrayed.
You know, it does look a little like freckled skin if you want to get it that way.
Yeah.
The worst thing in the world.
I think it's a really good start.
Yeah.
And we'll see it progress as we go on.
Oh, look at this. It's a foot. It is, honey.
It is a foot, but
it's offensive.
We will...
Get off here.
It's for Quentin.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
Gonna read it? Or you want to move on to the next?
I will read it out, and then we will move on to the next one. It's Whip Wednesday. # Whip Wednesday. I wanted to make a post with a for Whip Wednesday for once. There is a lot of prep. You are probably seeing a showcase model along with this drab stuff scrolling along your feed. The thing is that there is a lot of washing, cutting, cleaning, and assembling. This is part of the process, and priming, and then finally you can get to your work. So don't be too hard on yourself, guys. Oh, I can actually write, I just can't read.
Yes, see, now you know the issues I have from
Yes. But all right, keep those brushes wet, and can't wait to see your stuff. Yeah, so I don't know what was happening there other than my aneurysm, but basically what I was saying was, don't be too harsh on yourself, guys, because that's why I showed all of these pictures of us just priming stuff and all of that sort of thing. But yeah, we will move on, but I think that came out pretty nicely.
Really
but we're gonna see a bit more. But soon we'll turn to the YouTube comments section so that they can criticize me.
Oh yes.
Bum bum bum.
Bum 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 bum.
So we'll see how that does.
Next we have James.
Oh yeah, next we got James. Would you like to read out for James, please?
A friend was giving away a squad of Necrons to anyone who wanted the miniatures, so I grabbed one of the warriors to paint up. Turns out one of my White Dwarf magazines has a helpful guide to painting Necrons, so I'm going to use it to improve my painting. Ooh.
And you know what I like is just in the comment section there's brushstroke. I've got to go
Okay.
add two.
It was just like, watch more brushstroke. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Subtle.
it
But
was
you know,
quite
it's
nice.
it's
It
it's
was
totally
nice.
it's totally fine. But
That one was specifically about getting the OSL
yeah,
effect.
yeah.
So it was
All
quite
right.
easy.
Would you like to read the next one for James, and
What
then we'll
is
move on?
this leveling up?
Yep.
How I feel when a finished paint project turns out better than I ever thought I could paint. Oh yes.
Yes. All right.
Very good. I'm going to put a thumbs up.
Yes. All right. Would you like to read out for this one?
Took the feedback from last week. Did crack grenades red to keep it more in law. Changed the smoke grenade to red to make it more like he is calling in reinforcements, artillery. Got some help putting the symbols onto the shoulders for the faction and squad marking. Got a lot of help improving the base. Shout out for the help.
So I'll actually dub myself in. So I was the one who helped James with the
You're the
basing.
help.
Yes, I'm the help. At least you won't. But according to One Short, you were already selling me to people.
Pimp my husband.
But so what we did was we just did the ground in a brown, and then after that did up the bullet casings and the pin for the thing. Then we dusted the whole thing with some powder, some pure pigment, which is a grey. See, it's on the feet.
Yeah.
And see it on the back of the feet as well. And then so I showed him how to put these on, and I helped him with the first one of the ultramarine, and then he did the rest himself. He matted them down. I think that they've come out really nicely, like how he's done the grenades. I think it looks a lot better than what we saw last week. And this is the one thing that I really particularly love about this is when people take our feedback on board, and it's actually very helpful to them, because I think that he does look a lot better from where he was. And to be honest, it's not that many changes. No, I think
just a few touches here and there.
Yeah, and then I think all of a sudden, Bob's your uncle, and just he's great.
Bob is bobbing.
All right, okay. I guess that's our sign to move on. All right, so next up we have Victor. And he's asking a question.
I'm working on a paint scheme for my AdMech. Earlier I was going for a lab coat mad scientist theme, but I couldn't get it to feel right beyond the white robes. Now my inspirations are leaning toward a dark alien jungle theme instead. Castellan green robes and Vallejo metal steel are the primary paints as of right now. Any thoughts or ideas are welcome. Version 1, red eyes, no highlight, dark rose color. Version 2, yellow green eyes, silver/steel highlights on metal. Pale green robe.
So I like this robe better, but I like the red eyes.
Actually,
because I like
the contrast is quite nice. Red eyes. It's very apparent. But I also quite like the brightness of the yellow green versus the green. I think if he made the red more brighter, it would be just the
No, I like the darkness of the red. I like this. I like the green coat, especially because you can actually see the skull and the little dingly dangly.
Dingly danglies.
I don't know what this bit of it's called. I should, but unfortunately, my waning brain is dying.
I think just like you gotta mix and match here. So I like everything in terms of what you've done in version 2. From the steel, the highlights, the trim. Just put the red eyes in.
Yeah.
And then it's just Bob's bobbin.
Why does she do this to me? She wants to talk. All right. So I'll make her read other people's words.
Yeah. It's Justin.
It is Justin.
Slow progress on the CFs, chicken fries, steady base colors going down though, going for crisp and clean command squad at the only level I know how to paint. Showcase. For me at least. Joy. Okay.
Well, I think that these guys are coming along very nicely. Like that's brushstrokes level smooth with like the paint jobs.
I'm wondering if it was all a majority airbrush.
Well, I don't know. I'd say no. I think that this is much more likely to be just a regular. So, feedback by Peng. Would you like to read that?
Would love to listen to the rest of the stream, but I need to leave for work. Thanks for the feedback, Cal and Sunny. No worries. Ron, I believe, is good. Thank you for joining us. Please join us next week also.
Yeah, no. So it just looks so smooth.
It is.
All of it right now. And it's so fun, just that subtle variation between the colors of the Crimson Fists and the Ultramarines. That's why I think I like them so much better. Just that little extra sprinkling of color really makes them come to life quite a bit more. Whereas with the Ultramarines, though the trim of the shoulder pads is doing a lot of work a lot of the time. Yeah. And like, it's not that I dislike their color scheme. Their color scheme's classic, but I think I just like this better.
But no.
All right. So next.
Jason said, "Parade ready, Crimson Fists, like an Imperial propaganda shot."
Yes. It does.
Oh, look who is this?
It's Larry Has Flute.
As the orcs say, where there's a whip, there's a way. Started over again after the last post of the accursed figures. Third restart over. Oh my god. Decided this time I'd work from light to dark, opposite what I usually do. Tried a few different things of which contrast paint worked best. I was torn between Templar white and Apothecary white, but I think like the black I like the black. I like the Templar better. I also saw someone use a very watered down Nuln Oil to good effect, so I tried it. A little staining I couldn't get off on a couple of figures, but mostly good or at least acceptable results. I have to do some fixing of the white before I start adding shading and could make the patterns fall. And now I just have to touch up or smooth out the colors, do all the highlights and shades for the whole positive progress finally. Is looking nice.
This is night and day. So the one that I recommend when it comes to white is, if you're going to do something like this where you're doing shading, is I think it's called a Soulblight Gravelord or
Soulblight Grey.
Yeah, Soulblight Grey. Yeah. Games Workshop and their incomprehensible names, because like, why not just name something normal and then don't worry about copyright? But no, we're just
oh well. Look, yes. It's a glowing mini.
Hold on. Oh. So one of the things that I did want to say is, in my opinion, the Templar white come out very nicely.
Which brand is?
I do not know which brand is Templar white, and nor do I really care. But my experiences with Apothecary white have sort of tainted my view of it. But this, oh my god, that like this compared to last week, mate, night and day. Just look at it, and like these models look so much more crisp now, even though we've got a lot of clutter going on in the background. But like this right here, absolutely fantastic.
Every panel is defined but subtly. You can see everything without it being too overpowering. That's nice.
Well, I particularly like this one, but yeah, we'll move on. But just, mate, just night and day, night and day. All right. Speaking of night and day, we've got more from Larry. All right. Would you like to read out?
Goes a little early.
The nightclub ghost.
Yeah, because it's very nightclub.
Okay.
You'll see soon.
Yeah, I know.
A little early for a throwback, but they're fixing my other eye in the morning, and I'll be sleeping most of the day. So here you go, Frightened Exorcist. First two pictures are just regular light, and the third is regular light with a UV on it, and the fourth with all lights out except the UV. The base was done with both a fluorescent paint and glow-in-the-dark pigments, so it's a little iffy compared to the cross effect.
So I think this is a throwback that he's done, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I really like it.
Yeah.
But if it's a throwback, we'll try not to spend too much time on it and we'll move on. But yeah, very fun. It is very, very fun.
It's leg, honey.
Oh, it's leg. All right. So YouTube, please feel free to criticize me because it's leg day and this is for a commission. The showcase level commission. Tell me what you think. Be harsh with me because like the whole thing is I'm doing showcase level, so it's got to be nice work. Like I've obviously put stupid amount of work into it for just a leg.
A leg.
It's not even a full part of a leg, like half a leg.
Jason, if you're still there, please keep comment.
All right. Well, I won't take time too much.
Oh. Speed comment.
Yeah.
Those highlights going all the way to white is.
Yeah. I did even push it into the black on these ones. You'll see. If I zoom in real close, yeah, you'll see just at the tip there. I had to wear the goggles. The goggles do nothing. I had to wear the goggles to put on the highlight there.
Are the bronze/brass highlights with the whole metal?
I'm thinking.
white metal, I think is.
Oh yes, they are with white metal. So at the very peak with some of these, there's some white metal.
Yeah.
I think this one isn't quite as harsh without the photos.
Yeah, we're going for true metallic metal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think like some of the times the sheen comes through too much. So it comes through very well with the gold, but like when it's straight on, holy crud butt.
Crud bud.
Is it too powerful? Because like in reality, it is not this level of shiny, but when the
it's just the
when
light.
when the lights are on it, it's just. Oh yeah.
Victor says he's added 2 versions of Ari with the.
Okay, nice.
And then Jason say, definitely gonna have to buy me a bottle.
Yeah.
But this is scale 75.
Yeah.
That you're using, so there's.
I do like my scale 75, even though some people very much hate it. Goblin Story. Makes me very sad because people who have watched it, the amount of likes it's gotten for the amount of views is amazing. It's only got like 200 views.
Yeah, so sad. We really thought it would take off.
Yeah, we thought people would like it, but apparently not. All right, next up, we've got Alex.
I see. I got close. Really close to finishing, but he didn't finish. Blame the woman. But fell just short of the goal.
Shut up.
Completing this commission by today. Oh well. Only a few more hours of work on the characters and it'll be done. Vida. Oh. So who's to blame? Blame, huh?
I don't know.
Must have been one of these wankers.
You have thrown me off. So yeah, it is looking very good, but I don't know what the one thing that he hasn't done yet. Is it the I'm guessing that the white with these
Oh,
is
it
meant
looks
to
pretty
be
done.
like that. That's what I'm guessing we're gonna find out that like so that is that's
There's
probably
a base for the light.
this little orb there is probably meant to be like these orbs here have that energy glow. Those I would say is meant to look like this. That's what he's trying for. So like there and there. But honestly, you could call it done here, but I know that's not how we do things. But wow, it has really come along. It's come a very long way. And what I love about seeing things like this is seeing how far, you know, things have progressed. Because I think a lot of people are just sort of like, oh yeah, like they're always going to be great, and you don't understand how much work goes into something. Like you saw me just posting about a leg, just a leg. Like, oof, this is work. But yeah. So next up, we've got Alex again, and I think what I'm gonna try and do. How do I self? That sounds wrong.
Oh no.
See
I think
if
I meant to click.
yeah. I'll go down a bit and click on my name. See if we take a look. So thing looks like. We'll see. But yes, if you could read out what Alex says.
My painting setup is an absolute tragedy at the moment. I want to redo it. What do your setups look like? I need ideas. In other news, check out what some lucky bastard got today. I think that's a bad idea, Alex. I don't know if you want to see. I'm jealous.
Come on, I'm trying to. Right, so we apparently there's a big old spike here. That's about. I think she's gonna take too long to load, so I'm gonna call it quits for now.
Well,
But
we use lots of wicker basket, right?
no, we don't. We use lots of boxes.
Box.
Don't even know where you are. But yeah.
Talking about the.
Ulysses says non-metallic metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Oh no. We did true metallic metal.
Oh, you were talking about this. Yes. No,
Yes.
that's true metallic metal. Sorry, I'll come back to that for a second. But yeah, so well done on grabbing that one. But yeah, I'll go back to that for all of a hot second, and we're almost towards the finish, except we're going to have to reload because there's a bit more. So Ulysses was asking about this. So this is non-metallic metal and sorry, true metallic metal. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't have that shine characteristic because you see how sort of bright it is in those areas. But yeah, so if you do proper true metallic metal and non-metallic metal will look very, very similar. As an example,
Just that one is shinier than the other one.
yeah, well, for an example, when we come back to this right here, that's some non-metallic metal techniques on there because all it is just showing the sheen of things. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so next up, we've got more from Cassidy. You like to read out?
Death Watch Black Shield Whip.
So when I take a look at this guy, unfortunately, I finally get why people say they don't like the older miniatures because he does look a little bit munted with his stature. You notice that he's a bit squished.
I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, so looks good. You know, solid colors in. I think that the blue's looking good. Um, so hopefully we will see things move along shortly.
Oh, what's this? Is a Jose?
It is a Joseph, and it's a certificate. But I'm also going to.
Is the certificate for me?
Yes.
Yes,
The
top
certificate's
tier, top tier, painted by Alan.
Hmm.
I went to a 14-man God tier tournament last weekend and came 11th, but I did win best painted. There was a lot of naked plastic, but still I was chuffed. I'm almost done with the Wish Seekers. I expect to have them vanished this weekend.
Hmm.
Looking good. Banner bearers big.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the metal work. It's very nice. I like the steel that you've done. The gold is also looking pretty good in my opinion. What else we got? I do think the red is still
Yeah.
the hair as well. I suppose it's not necessarily bad if it's glossy in the hair, but
Yeah, I think glossy hair much better than glossy cape.
but I do think glossy hair does make it sticky.
You know what? You're not wrong. Alright, so Nick Allen has posted that up, and it looks like that's the last one for the night, so we'll take a look.
Yeah, this is a whip. Would love to hear any thoughts on the colors, readability, etc. Thanks. Wow.
Okay,
Just
so
wow.
it's looking really good. You got some little hints of yellow in the beard. So unfortunately, I can't really comment on that until I see a different angle because
I see it too.
Because I think what he's trying to do is have the light coming from this way. And so if that's the case, right? Because what we see is some depth of shadows over here. So I'm not sure if the light's meant to be hitting this way or if it's meant to be going that way.
An overspray of some.
No, I don't think it is an overspray. It looks too deliberate because of the places that it's hit. Because it's hit here, but it hasn't hit up there and up there, right?
But it is confusing.
Well, what I'm saying is, for the moment, it's confusing. I think if we saw more angles of it, because if he's trying to show the directionality of light, that's totally okay. But I think instead of a yellow, I know that green bounces off, white surfaces and all of that sort of thing, right? But remember, the thing that we're trying for is not reality, but the feeling of reality. We want verisimilitude.
He's saying that it's meant to be directional light.
Phototop, yeah. So that's what I thought, yeah. Because I can see the shadows deepening over here. So I think that it's looking really good, but one of the people who I would really look at is what I'd actually try and do is take more photos in a photo box. That's what I'd do first. And with a few more directions, and then what I would probably do is ask. It's not an Alan. Who's the other one? Who doesn't love us? Who doesn't love us?
Vision.
Yeah, genuine vision.
Yeah,
Stephen. So, what I do is I do that, but I do think that your change in lighting is too harsh. So here we go. We see the light coming from this way. Great. But then we see that go to almost a black here. That right there. So I think that's a bit too harsh because we see that the same over here. Right? It's a bit too harsh because that's not how sunlight affects things, because sunlight has a lot of wraparound, especially for skin.
bounce light.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because that's one of the things that you got to remember. Like, sunlight is very intense. And, like, that's the thing that I'm seeing here. Like, I think that these shadows are good right here. But the thing is, we really need more pictures because obviously you put a lot of effort into this, like a tremendous amount of effort into this. So I don't want to give you the bum drum because I can obviously already see the starts of things. Like he's got all of those. I don't know if this is non-metallic metal or true metallic metal. It doesn't matter. Same effect, right? All of those sheens and stuff are like that, and the beard rings and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot going on. It looks good to me, but take some different angles. Hopefully that will improve things because when we give feedback, we want to give appropriate levels of feedback. Like you might have seen with Jason, we sort of lit him up despite the fact that he did a really good job. But the reason is because he said, I'm trying for display level, I'm trying to push myself. And we try and tailor our feedback to that. So if somebody is really trying to push themselves and we've only got one picture from them, it's going to be a lot more difficult to give feedback on that. I think that when it comes to the light, the light the skin down here on the feet looks a bit better than here because I think that the transition is too harsh. But I think that's about all I can.
Actually, I would give one
Oh yeah.
feedback because, like, do you see how his nose has no green pigment?
Yeah, yeah, he's trying to do the classic red
Red
nosed.
nose. I feel like that effect, because if you're gonna go for that effect, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that needs to translate on like the open palms or the open feet.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
because like that would really just next level. But again, it might be too hard at this.
Hmm.
You've got like that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
just feel like that was something that didn't quite
well,
feel right.
because one of the things, like I said just before, right? We've got to give appropriate levels of feedback because, like, um, Lance, for example, is just trying for tabletop. He's trying to smash things out, right? And the thing is, when he's just trying to smash things out, he's not looking for the same level of feedback that perhaps you or perhaps Jason is, right? And I think that's the big thing for me. But I'll just wait for a minute or two if you want to say anything more, Nick. And other than that, I think we're about to close out. So I'll just have a little bit of a scroll, and then we'll say keep
Those
those
brushes
brushes
wet.
wet.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
A great weekend, everyone.
You have a
Bye.
great weekend.